My name is Faith Kelly, and I'm the director of Focus Art. We are a community-based art program for artists of all abilities, and I love my job. Part of today, when I got the invitation to speak, this whole topic of finding our voices really resonated for me because I really feel like my job and my life are really an expression of my voice. And I think that part of what makes it so that a person can get to a point in their life when they really feel like they are able to use their voice and find it is having a good support network around themselves. And I have an excellent support network, both in my family and at work. And I'm just going to tell you a little bit about myself and how I arrived here and how Focus Art came about, and also some profiles of a couple of the artists in our program. I think one piece that's important to having that support network is that you have people around you who recognize and celebrate your passions. And my family certainly did that for me as I was growing up. When I was asked the question, what do you want to be when you grow up? My answer was always an artist. And I think that that was really solidified when on my 10th birthday, my father gave me a gift of all of his art supplies. And it wasn't anything fancy. It was used art supplies, stuff that he'd had around for a while that he'd gotten from his sister, who was an artist. And but he was sort of passing the torch on to me, and he said, Faith, you're the artist in the family now. And for 10-year-old Faith, that was a pretty big deal. And I really could see that this was something that my family took seriously. And my dad is a poet and an artist as well. And, you know, to hear this from him really instilled in me that, okay, you know, I really can be an artist, and this is something that I can do. I think that I got my humanitarian spirit from my mom. My mom ran a homeless shelter in Bangor, Maine for many years, and she really taught all of us kids that respect for others and tolerance of differences is the bedrock of who we are as people. And that's something that I've been able to take with me in my work and in my life, in my friendships and relationships with people, that it's all about respect for differences, tolerance, and loving everyone for who they really are. I went on to go to school, and I was an art major. I got really into music, singing, songwriting, explored fiber arts. So I sort of expanded to not just being a visual artist, but I'm really somebody who dabbles in all of the arts. And something that I've always found that I love to do is once I learn something, I get excited and want to pass it on. And so in that way, I'm sort of a teacher to my friends, to my family. I've just always been excited about, you know, whatever it is that I've learned, I want to share that with somebody else and get them excited about it too. For the past decade or so, I've been in the field of nonprofit disability support services, and the past 5 years of which have been at Focus Inc. And Focus Inc. is a nonprofit agency located out in Eagle River. We've been around for about 30 years now, a little more than 30 years, serving the Chugiak, Eagle River, and Anchorage area. And we serve the whole lifespan. We have an infant learning program. We have an after-school and summer program for young adults and teenagers. And we have a supported employment program helping folks work on job skills so that they can get out there and they can give back. Focus is a really innovative place to work, and I found that it's a place where I've been able to tap into my own creativity. And I think that, you know, if I weren't working for a place like this that recognizes what is it that somebody's passionate about, then Focus Art never would have happened. And about 6 months ago, it did happen. We started in October, and we have 16 artists currently enrolled. As I said before, we're a community arts program. And when I say community, I mean not just the folks who are coming from Focus who are involved in it, but we see it as something that will affect the whole community. We don't want this to be a situation like a sheltered workshop where you have a segregated environment. We want it to be something where it's fully integrated into the community because, of course, people who experience disabilities are members of the community just like you or me. And not only typical community members, but artists in particular. We want to, and we have, pulled in artists from the community to get involved with what we do, and to help out our artists in learning new things. We've got big dreams. Like I said, we've only been around for 6 months now, but we're going places. And one aspect of Focus Art is that, in a way, it really is part of Focus Inc.'s voice. It's our way of expressing just how important it is to us that people get the opportunity to really see their dreams. It's another environment where someone can work on personal goals. We all have goals, some goals are bigger than others, but I think that when I talk to you about the artists that we have in our program and you see the kind of goals that they have, I think you can see that the work that we're doing at Focus Art really is valid work. What really makes our program different from other arts programs for people who experience disabilities is that full integration into the community, the fact that it's not this segregated thing, and that we do involve other artists from the community. So I want to introduce you to one of our artists. This is Melanie. Melanie, like me, is a fellow 30-something. She's a very independent woman, and she knows what she wants. One of her goals is making sure that she vocalizes and lets people around her know what it is that she wants. Another goal of hers is making eye contact with people while she's talking. And she's just a cool person. Melanie's favorite color is pink. You can see she's wearing her pink shirt here. And one really great thing that happened for Melanie recently was she moved into a new place. And the first few months that she moved in there, she just could not stop talking about her pink room. Melanie got to pick out the paint. She got to assist with painting the room. And that may not seem like a really big deal, but for Melanie, it really is. It's not a choice that a lot of adults who experience disabilities get to make, unfortunately. But Melanie has great supports around her, and she was able to make that choice and act on it. Melanie has just been fantastic in our program. She initially didn't really want to get her hands dirty, which we found is actually a pretty common theme with new members. Everybody's been told their whole lives, keep your hands clean, don't get messy. And we're kind of telling them the opposite. We want everybody to experiment and really get their hands dirty, really try all of the materials, think outside the box. That also applies to the artwork that we do. We see it all as like an experiment. A lot of the folks who come to us, their art experience is so limited, it might be limited just to like coloring in a coloring book. And we really go beyond that. And Melanie's a great example of that. She's developed her own aesthetic. She has an amazing, amazing sense of color. I'm just in awe of the colors that she chooses to put together. And she has this process of building up her work in layers over time to create beautiful pieces. And at first, she just stayed in sort of a safe zone, colored pencils, markers. But now she's working with new materials like oil pastels, like you see here. She works a lot with paint and just building up these beautiful pieces of art. And she has actually sold several paintings, which validates that voice of hers. Not only is she a great artist, but she's a great artist whose work people want to buy and have in their homes. I feel like it's just amazing that she wouldn't have had this opportunity otherwise. And we wouldn't have known what a great artist she was. So again, tapping into that theme of finding your voice, Melanie really has found her voice through this program. More of Melanie with her work. She's always smiling. And another thing about Mel that is really cool is that this attitude, this smiling and open to experimentation, it really rubs off on everybody else. And the sessions that she's involved with, she really has brought other people alive as well. She's also rubbed off on the routine that we have there. Like, we take a tea break every day, and that's Melanie's thing. She loves tea, and she always makes sure right around 3 o'clock, like, Faith, isn't it time to start making the tea? Like, don't we get our break now? And again, that's Melanie having an impact on her environment, using her voice. And the eye contact. I mean, the eye contact with Mel has just been all the time. She's communicating with us as staff and with her peers. So she really just this has just been an opportunity for her to flourish and to work on her personal goals. This is one of her pieces that's displayed out in the lobby right now. And this was some experimentation with house paint. We've been working with a lot of recycled materials. And there's Mel. She's an artist. This is Alex. Alex is another one of the artists in our program. I've known Alex for a long time. He is an avid athlete. He's been involved with Special Olympics for a long time, and he has loads of medals and ribbons. He recently competed in the Alaska State Winter Games and won some more medals in skiing and snowshoeing. And Alex had been participating in our program for a couple of months when he said, you know, I kind of think I want things to be a little bit different, which was amazing because Alex is the kind of guy who just kind of goes with the flow. He's a quiet guy. A couple of the goals that he's working on are, like Melanie, you know, stating his needs and having an impact on what goes on in his life and verbalizing. He can talk, but sometimes he just chooses to be quiet. So the fact that he brought it up himself, I want something different. He said it, and we listened. So we brought out the instruments, and Alex loves music. We've been playing music now for a few months, and Alex has totally come alive with it. It's been really cool to see the difference between the sessions that he's involved with now that we have the music added in. It's just lively and fun, and it's rubbing off on everyone else. So Alex really has made this happen. It really wouldn't have happened without Alex. It's also rolled over into the visual art that he works on because he has all this energy and this, you know, all the creative juices are flowing during our music sessions. Afterward, we take a little break and then we get into our visual art, and he's just got a lot more energy to put into it. And like I said, you know, it's rubbing off on the other guys in there. Here we are all singing together, and we've been having a blast. I think the song that we were singing here is Don't Stop Believing by Journey, which is apparently a huge hit now because of Glee. So the guys are all super into this. They all know the words. They're all singing along. And again, you know, Alex, this quiet guy who needs to work on his verbal skills, he has literally found his voice because he's singing. We can hear him. He also invented this game, we call it Band Leader, and it's like our warm-up each week. And he runs the show. He like tells people when to get started and when to stop, what instrument he wants them to work on. So this is him. This is him finding his voice in our program. Of course, everybody's having a blast. We have a lot of other artists in our program, some of whose stories I'm not going to tell today, but I'll just show you some great pictures. And I just ask you to stay tuned, you know, keep posted on what we're up to. We're on Facebook. We've got frequent updates on there. You'll see pictures of the artwork we work on. It's not just visual art and music. We've got fiber arts. We're going to explore some dance opportunities through our partnership with Out North Contemporary Art House. And this is where we got to have our first show back in December. And we've really just loved this opportunity to put ourselves out there and be welcomed by the community and give everybody that chance to have their voices heard. So thank you so much.